Many years ago, when I was working with a senior vice president in an engineering driven environment, was challenged with the team members that reported to him, as well as the members of his team that he reported to above him. And what we came up with is the top five. So, what is the top five? In essence, it's a psychological profile, an extra light version, but it's a profile of what's going on around you on two folds. One is, what's my psychological profile, defined as how people push my buttons. And the other is a profile of those people that are pushing your buttons, or there's something just a little irritating about working with them. And instead of taking it passively, we like to shift to a more proactive approach, and top five helps bring this about. So how does it work? We take a composite and say, hey, tell me about all the meetings you had with this person over the last month or 6 months. And, especially the parts that pushed your buttons, because this is the gateway to knowledge. And once we identify that, we're able to profile with the client, hey, this is what, sets me off. And so they can learn something about themselves. And so once that's out on the table, there's some pressure taken out. The second part, and this is what completes the proactive switch from passive to proactive management, is now I take a look at the individual who's been pushing my buttons and their work style. And I'm looking at everything between the button pushing and the things you love about them. And from there, you start to get a profile. So let me go through a series of examples of individuals and personality types that may or may not, but likely push buttons. And I'm going to recap several of those right here. One is the type A person, the driver. They plow through stuff to get the job done. So they tend to step on toes. That would be one. Another one is the high energy person. They're almost like nervous. They have so much energy and they want to perform. And being able to, how do you harness that? How do you get them to channel that energy more effectively? Another one is the person who needs to be important. And we need to find out, hey, what buttons do we need to push to have them keep feeling important and get their job done? Another example is the manipulative employee. So how do you manage that? How do they push your buttons? And so the top five is a way to address how you interact with these people. And the main pivot or the shift is going from a passive management style, meaning they push your buttons, to leaning into it and not allowing your buttons to be pushed, but actually learning how they want to be talked to or spoken to and or directed and managed. And this doesn't matter if you report to them or down below, they report to you. And one more thing, why? Why do a top five? I'll boil it out really fast. Feel better. To not get taken out, as I put it, when someone pushes your button, because when my button's pushed, I get irritated and angry as a real common response from me. And I have to manage that and use my irritation and frustration to understand myself better. So I use the tool to understand myself better, but the main reason for the top five is how to harness better performance out of the teams that work for you and how you interact with the people above you as well. And this is where the top five comes in and provides tremendous benefits in a short amount of time.